Yo, Rena! The next movie doesn't suck!
What? Earth, mostly Japan, desperately defends itself from invasive visor visitors from Planet X and their mind-controlled behemoths.
This is like a remake of Ghidorah, but 20 times better.
Anything that's going on with the humans, it's kind of interwoven with the monster story.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun to watch.
This was actually part of the 5-picture deal that Henry G. Saperstein, the American producer, had with Toho Studios. That's what kind of makes this movie a little bit more special too, is that it's a co-American production, the only Godzilla movie, not including the American one, that is co-financed by an American backer. A couple of returning stars from Frankenstein come in this. Nick Adams, who unfortunately we didn't really talk about in Frankenstein. It never came up.
Well, we were on like 2 hours of sleep.
Oh, yeah. and Nick Adams was a fairly prolific star over here in the States for a little while. Probably safe to say pretty full of himself. Spent $10,000 of his own money to get himself nominated for an Oscar. Got nominated, arrived like many hours early before the actual premiere. Practiced walking down the aisle for his acceptance speech. Didn't win. The following year, he was in Japan making Frankenstein conquers the world. To be perfectly fair, though, almost everything I've ever seen said about him by his Japanese co-stars and co-workers, they loved him.
It starts out that you have aliens from Planet X, which Earth has just found. When Earth lands there, the citizens of Planet X want Godzilla and Rodan to come out, pay him a visit, try to take care of this space monster they have called Monster Zero, Monster X,
King Ghidorah.
Simon. When they're on Planet X, there's this yellow lightning coming down, and they're like, what the hell is that? We better get inside. Do you think they'd be able to see? It's clearly King Ghidorah. Why is Ghidorah attacking a seemingly lifeless planet surface? He must have been so hurt by all the boulders that Godzilla threw at him in the previous entry that he's just like, fuck these boulders!
So they bring Rodan and Godzilla over to Planet X and they fend off Ghidorah, yay! And then all of a sudden it turns out that these Zeans, or whatever they call Exians, they want to take over Earth.
I dug the plot, like the fake out that, they wanted the monsters to come and take care of Ghidorah on Planet X. It was a believable lie. I mean, I remember the first time watching this, I was a kid, and I thought that's what the movie was going to be about, is the monsters go to this planet and fight there, and then they come back home, and that's the end of the movie. But no. And then the fake out, and then using that mind control, so now you got all 3 monsters destroying the Earth. I thought
Earth, mind you, not just Japan,
yeah.
The Earth.
It gives a real global scale, obviously.
Yeah.
Which
is only kind of hinted at in the previous movie.
Even in this one, though, you kind of felt like, wow, Japan's really taking one for the team here. Thanks,
right. The aliens plot for world domination or, taking the water, I don't think it makes a whole lot of logical sense,
No, they kind of established that the aliens have far advanced technology, unlike anything on Earth, and yet they pull this deception move to try to steal the water from Earth. They could have probably just attacked us and stole it anyway. The whole alien thing was handled way better, even though the aliens I thought looked like shit.
It was the 1960s.
I know.
1965.
They had these helmets with like pin pricks on the top, like that when those Earthlings left, they were just tossing around balloons and popping them with their helmets.
Their little Geordie LaForge visors.
Yep.
I love the art design of this movie. You might look at it now, and it might seem very
dated.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's this 1960s spaceship, almost kind of Buck Rogers, not quite, feel about it. Planet X, barren wasteland with Jupiter hanging overhead. I mean, come on.
That was a cool shot. Yeah.
The destruction scenes in this movie were awesome.
Yeah, some of the best we've seen, I think, since the first entry.
I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Do you guys remember that miniseries? They recently redid it into an actual TV series, which was terrible. I don't even know how it got renewed for 2 seasons. V, with Mark Singer, aka the Beastmaster. In V, these human-like aliens come down, called the Visitors, and they're wearing glasses because the sun is too bright for them. They put up this whole front of, we're going to give you this miracle drug that's going to cure cancer, which obviously isn't true, and they turn out to be big butt heads. Almost exactly like Monster Zero. In fact, there's a scene, at least a set, where there's this big red V in the room. I mean, this this film appeared 20 years prior to the miniseries, so obviously nobody was ripping off anybody. But it's just these weird parallels that were going on. What about the Godzilla Shay?
Oh God Almighty!
The Godzilla Shay. I don't even think I'm saying that right. I'm pretending to be Japanese because I'm a what's the term? Weeaboo? It's a white guy pretending to be Japanese or something like that.
They have a term for that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. You want to show them what that,
You've been doing this ever before we even started this. Go ahead, do it.
Shall we both?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh God.
Oh, gosh.
Why did they think that was a good idea? I wish he would have done it in the American one. That would have been great. Get Matthew Broderick. I think he's doing the Gojira Shay. That's a lot of fish.
From what I understand, this was somebody suggested this. Subaraya, the special effects director, was like, "Oh my God, I love it! The kids are just gonna think it's wild." Nakajima, the guy who's in the Godzilla suit, Honda, the director, and the special effects cameraman were like, "That is an awful, awful idea." But obviously, they didn't win out on that argument, and it got included.
It would have been better in the previous movie. I bet you people would have not paid attention as much to it.
To justify these movies, Ghidorah, yeah, I had a problem with. And with this one, I think there's some weak points to it. Even Godzilla vs. the Thing, there's weak points. But honest to God, I would show these to my kids. These are good kids movies. These are movies that, we both grew up watching. And obviously, we're sitting here in our late 20s talking about it, making videos about it, celebrating the fact, To that extent, I think that that's just a testament to the power of these movies, the lasting power of these plays.
Absolutely. We're 6 movies in. How would you rank it compared to the other 5 that we've seen?
It would either be second or third. For me. Original Godzilla, and then I really, for whatever reason, King Kong vs. Godzilla, and then Monster Zero are kind of side by side for me, personally. How about you?
For me, I'd probably put it at number 2. Original, this one, King Kong, Mothra, Ghidorah, Raids.
Well, we've kind of dealt with outer space aliens the past couple movies. I think it's about time we bring everything back home, maybe take a vacation in the South Seas, maybe visit some tropical terrorists and their giant shrimp of a protector. I don't know if he's a protector or an agent or a lackey. They might, pay him in krill or something, I'm not really quite sure. But we are going to go down to the South Seas and watch Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, aka Abera, Terror of the Deep. For Godzilla's sake, keep watching more tokusatsu. For the good of mankind, yourselves, Nick Adams, the Exians, Frankenstein, the Giant Octopus, the Gargantuous, Henry G. Saperstein, and whatever. We'll see you in the next review! Or will we?